All right, so for this video, I started to chat with different AIs to figure out, what would be, I asked three AIs this, what feature set and applications should be built into the foundation of a graphical operating system for the IBM XT8088 with a VGA adapter and be detailed. So I asked Gemini first, and Gemini gave me that some details about the memory management, which gave me insight into 8088's 64 kilobyte segments, like the memory segmentation that it does. It recommended expanded memory support, which might be interesting to do later on. Right now, I don't have a need for that. One thing that stood out was that all of the responses recommended that we do a cooperative multitasking approach instead of preemptive. And and I thought, okay, what if we could make that dynamic? What if we could have a setting that says use preemptive multitasking or cooperative? And that's what I ended up choosing as the first thing to try. And in order to do that, I had AI build a control panel. And in this video, I'm going to show the approach that Opus took to create a control panel that allows me to dynamically set the scheduler to be preemptive or cooperative. So I gave it a prompt that said, would it be safe to add a control panel to the Apple menu, which I'm going to change because I don't want to have an Apple menu, with one of the first available features is being to change the scheduler from preemptive multitasking to cooperative multitasking on the fly. That way, the user has an option of a more responsive cooperative approach versus the preemptive approach we have now. And then it did some scanning, and it said that yes, it's safe with one gotcha and one real hazard. All right, so it says the kernel is already better set up for this than I'd expect, because cooperative mode already exists in miniature, and it told me that the disk already locks the operating system in order to do its reads, so for hundreds of milliseconds, and the scheduler survives. So the control panel toggle is the same mechanism made persistent. So that was an interesting find. The gotcha was, it decided not to do some kind of it would freeze permanently. So it needs to do a little bit more work than just copy what it found. And so flipping on the fly is generally safe. So it continued to explain what would happen here. Let's see what else. But it decided that the real hazard is loaded packages. Task yield is exposed at JPI, but nothing obliges them not to call it, and packages are taskless. Their paint key click procs run inside the UI task. Under preemption, on runaway job from drive B still gets the clock tick, and task managers repaint. Under pure cooperative, its heart bangs the machine, and there's no way back. So it's technically saying that in a package, the package may actually hang the machine because it doesn't have a way. It will no longer abide by the clock, and the clock won't take away its control, and therefore it might completely hang the machine if something happens. So what it decided to do is to suggest a cooperative with a watchdog approach in co-op mode. So unless it skips the switch unless the current task has held the CPU for more than n ticks. One counter reset in one compared ISR. You get cooperative behavior in every normal case, and the system will still recover from hung package. So that's good to know. But it did say that I don't think we're gonna get the responsiveness that we want. So the timer runs at 18.2 hertz. So preemption costs 18 context switches per second. The switch itself, and there's almost no overhead to reclaim. Cursor smooth is unaffected either way. The mouse ISR. So what cooperative actually changes is distribution. The front up gets longer on interrupt runs, which is true, which is what I want. I think I want the nice thing about cooperative multitasking is that the active application gets much more of the CPU or all of it. So so that's the one thing that I'm looking for to make dynamic. And one way that we might want to check that is with a Minesweeper repaint. If that's faster with cooperative multitasking, then we know that we have a little bit of a win there. But we'll probably lose clock and bounce performance if they're running in the background. All right, so I went ahead and said, okay, let's do that. Let's do the cooperative with a watchdog approach, and but I want to still call it preemptive and cooperative, even if it's not exactly 100%. So it went ahead and it did the whole thing. I haven't run it yet. I haven't seen what it created. It took an hour and a half to run and build that thing. So let's see what happened. All right. I'm gonna go here, make XT. And I really hope the microphone is better right now. I had some feedback in a previous video that the microphone was low, and I checked the settings here, and indeed they were low. The input volume was low, so hopefully I'm using a MacBook Air for this, and I'm not in my home office, so I don't have a microphone, an external one. So I hope this video came off better. All right, back again. This is an XT machine in 86 blocks, and now I'm gonna go here, and I expect that there will be an icon, a control panel. Great. And now we have a scheduler. Now, I think I want to make it so that we have a menu system here. So we'll probably have to code that separately or as a continuation of that. But right now it's in preemptive multitasking. So let me see here. If I go here and I have multiple bounce, this one, all right. Does cooperative make it so that they stop? Do they freeze? Let's see. Okay, do they slow down a little bit? Let me see. All right, that is much smoother. That looks smoother. That does look like it slowed down a bit. All right, so I'm gonna go here to preemptive. Now let me load the game. All right, so let me close this down. One thing that I'm planning to do with, for a little bit more RAM, for machines that have a little bit more RAM, I am going to change this so that it optionally uses a different approach for rendering and caching video, because in the initial build, it decided to go with a slower approach to conserve RAM. But if you have the 640K, or if you have more than 640K, perhaps I can speed up the video quite a bit by caching some things. All right, so as you can see here, this is the performance for repainting Minesweeper in preemptive multitasking. I don't expect it to be much faster than that. Let's see, in cooperative. All right, now let me go and, is it faster? I cannot tell. Let me see, that's in cooperative. This is in preemptive. I honestly cannot tell, and I don't see any difference in the applications. But hey, it's a setting now. I have to see where this is gonna fail, because I have no idea where. But at least now the bounces are not like freezing like they used to. Let me see. Well, they are freezing. Okay, now we have two that are. Oh, is it the overlap that causes a problem? Yeah, if I like slightly overlap, look at that. That window on top of that window means that one right there stops updating. So I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, so that the overlapping is an issue. But this is cooperative and it's working almost the same. I cannot tell the difference, so there you go. I'm not even sure if I should merge this in, but it is a setting now. Maybe what I'll do is I'll make this into I'll add a menu to control panel really quick, and see and check that in 1 second. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and say I want you to make the control panel a 2-pane view. The left pane are the menu items, and the right pane is the contents for that menu item. The first menu item is the scheduler title for the scheduler settings we just added. That becomes automatically selected, and the right pane shows the settings that we can control. All right. I'm gonna hit enter here, and this should probably take about 5 minutes or so. So let's let it run, and then I'll check back with the results. All right, so I had it redo the control panel here, and let me run that really quickly. And I think the last thing that we'll do after we do this test is I want to move the task manager from special, I think it is right now, over to the Apple menu. I think I would expect to see the task manager accessible from there versus under special. So let's see here. All right, how about well that's loading. Like I want to also move the menu, the task manager menu item over to the Apple and away from special. All right, so let's do that. Now let's go see over here. So that's there. That's here. Let's go to the control panel. Okay, now we have the scheduler here and we have the setting here. So now I can, I have the green light to start adding more settings here. Like maybe I can have some wallpaper support or other things that I can configure. Yeah, I can minimize this, open it back up, close it out. Can see the task manager. Go over here. Oh, it also reports whether it's using preemptive or cooperative now. So if I go here and move this over, I really wonder why. I guess it decided to not refresh Windows if there's a stacking going on. All right, so if I go to cooperative, okay, now it's cooperative. Preemptive, cooperative. All right, cool. I think one other recommendation that the ChatGPT said was that I should make it so that only the windows that are being changed repaint instead of, or the spacing that is being changed repaints instead of having the whole entire UI repaint, which can get a little bit annoying. Like if you see here, every single time I move something around, the whole entire screen repaints, and I would expect that I only repaint this section here, the whatever was under. So I'm gonna see if I can make that change in the next video and see how that behaves. But yeah, in this release, all I'm doing is adding the control panel, adding the ability to switch between preemptive and cooperative schedulers, which I don't see a difference, and the AI said that I probably will not see a difference. So for that reason, maybe preemptive should be the way to go. And for now, I don't think there's a way to store. I don't know if if these settings are persisted anywhere. I don't know if this let's see. I'm gonna switch to cooperative, and if I restart this, it's probably not gonna keep that setting. So that's an interesting quirk there. I think I may have to do some kind of persistence to disk. Let's see here, control panel. Print. Oh, wow, this is interesting. task manager is over here now. So all I gotta do, I'd restarted the machine. That was a reboot, and then the image was updated on behind the scenes. That's kind of cool. All right. And then special is just restart, which I think I'm gonna do like this is a single user operating system right now, and I think that's it's gonna remain a single user operating system. But yeah, file. Maybe I will have to have a launcher of sorts. All right. Well, that's gonna be it for this video. The next one, like I said, I'm gonna probably do the window refresh and see how that goes. Thank you for watching.